Manhattan D.A. Alvin Bragg has started the new year with some momentum. Fresh from winning a conviction of the Trump Organization for fraud, he appears to be going after other aspects of Donald Trump's dealings. And he's pushing initiatives involving mental health and guns. But his first year in office has, by all accounts, been a rocky one. Critics blasting his policies as soft on crime.
We should fire DAs like Alvin Bragg, who refuse to enforce the law.
If any DA refuses to enforce the law, I'll remove them.
So I met D.A. Bragg at the Harlem Tavern in the neighborhood he's lived almost all 49 years of his life to dissect year one and look ahead. But before we could even get inside, we spotted an unlicensed marijuana truck parked on 116th Street right there, illegally selling weed in plain sight. Oh, this right here. Is this legal?
Most likely not, because we're in a regulatory gray zone.
Here's the DA right here. Here's the guy with a truck. What could be done about this?
Well, we've been coordinating with the sheriff.
But the short answer is nothing.
Well, no, the sheriff has been, they've impounded some vehicles. They've gone in and to a lot of the tobacco smoke shops.
But in the most practical terms, this guy gets to do business unchecked, at least for now. It's problematic. You had guns pointed at you. You said shots have been fired near you, a knife pulled on you. Can you take me through those actual situations?
In college on 110th and Broadway, it was indiscriminate and started sort of shooting up this diner. And again, everyone ran for cover. When the smoke cleared, the literal smoke cleared, you had people coming out of the kitchen with pots and pans, whatever they thought could protect them.
So there's this lived experience. It's real. And when people say Alvin Bragg is soft on crime, how does that sit with you?
It's not accurate. And I think now that we've been in office for a year, gun prosecutions are up 20%, shootings and homicides are down, hate crime prosecutions are up. We're doing the work, we're doing it thoughtfully, focusing on those who are doing the most harm in Manhattan.
I want to show you a couple clips here.
Kathy Hochul says that we should be cutting Alvin Bragg some slack, that he just got there and he's doing his job. I say to Kathy Hochul that she should fire Alvin Bragg today.
In the political arena, particularly, Lee Zeldin, you look at his ads, and quite often I was the only black face in his commercials or other depictions. I don't think that was accidental. By the time he was saying that, there was data on our prosecutions and what we were doing, and we were far safer than other parts of the state that he was campaigning in and calling his own. And I'm doing that work along with 500 dedicated career prosecutors and an office of 1,500 public servants, and it's a disservice to the victims, the survivors.
So 1 year ago this month, there was this infamous Day One memo that you put out, right? Even your supporters would say that's a rookie mistake to state that you're not going to prosecute certain low-level crimes, turnstile jumping, marijuana, prostitution, that kind of thing. When you look back at that, do you wish you had a do-over? Would you do it differently?
The memo was a legal, relatively dense memo that was meant for, an audience, so the people who understood the depth that were doing the work, and the way it was put out without proper context. I'm accountable for that, not having the proper context and for the public.
I mean, if you send anything out to 500 people, they're going to hit send and share it, right? You clearly didn't think about that part.
We've got now a year of work, and when you look at us, across the city, across the state, and nationally, on homicides, on shootings, on our hate crime work, on the work we're doing on the prevention and the $9 million investment in mental health. I mean, pioneering work I'm so proud of, while of course knowing that we have more to do.
I'm bringing it up because it's fair in the sense that people still think about it as criminals have the green light to do what they want in this city. Whether that's true or not, that's an impression that exists, and people feel that way. That's tangible.
We just walk these blocks, right? I know as much, if not more, about the sort of things that are happening on these streets, and we are tailoring our work to address it. And so that's part of the reason I'm talking to you here today, right? We want people to know the work that we're doing, to know that there's real accountability for violence on our trains, to know that there's real accountability for those who are doing harms.
Yet the data still exists. Recidivism for felonies last year, most of them up in the 20% range, give or take. We're talking about robberies, grand theft auto, and larceny, I think it is. All up in the 20% range citywide. It's a climate and a culture that people feel like something needs to be changed. Something needs to change.
You're not going to get, denial from me. I know what's going on in the streets. I'm here. I'm talking to the people I go to church with, my neighbors. I'm seeing it every day professionally and personally. And so what I say to New Yorkers is, we know the challenges ahead, and we're meeting the moment by where we're putting the resources in the office, the cases we're bringing.
How does growing up in this neighborhood inform your day-to-day, your work?
So in really good ways, and sort of knowing the sort of community richness and ties, the houses of faith, the civic groups that are part of our public safety network and vibrancy, right? Those are the things that make communities strong. I mean, that's why I'm still here, because I love this neighborhood.
Now, tonight at 11 o'clock, we get into the Trump investigations, where they stand, as well as some personal stories and connections that brought the Manhattan D.A. to where he is today, as well as why preventive mental health care is a thing in the D.A.'s office nowadays. You would think that's outside of their range, but it is now, and we'll get into why.
Got a sense that he's starting to understand the office a little bit more, right? Did you get that?
Absolutely. The PR part, he didn't follow any of that. He was a lawyer going straight at the work, and how it sells wasn't clear to him. It is now.
Learning on the job, as they
Very much
say.
so.
It's a great interview.